Hey, good morning. It is Mental Toughness Monday. We are so excited to be here working with Steve Siebold, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World class. All right. And we are on number 34, I believe. Champions always strive for greater competence. Is that true? Are we on 34?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
That's what.
Our quote is from Larry Wilson, who's the founder of the Wilson Learning Company or corporation. Information is the booby prize. The real prize is competence. So we're going to talk some more about competence. This is going to be fun. Amateur performers are often good at memorizing and learning bits and pieces of information, just as they are taught to do in school. Champions know that memorizing data in the information age is worth about as much as it costs to purchase a computer and log on to the internet. Champions are focused on, you don't even have to have a computer now. You can do that with a phone. Champions are focused on becoming competent at what they do and leave the information gathering to someone else. While the masses worry about job security and the return of poor economic conditions, champions spend time building and improving their attitudes, skills, and knowledge in their chosen field. This laser guided focus channels energy directly into the building blocks of their competency. This approach puts professional performers in constant demand from corporations or an organization searching for people with world-class habits. So while amateurs stay up at night worrying about job security, the pros are quietly creating it through competence. The future belongs to the competent, both in their field and in terms of controlling and directing their emotions. But then again, it always has. Okay, this is huge, don't you think?
Been
Also, I
doing
forgot.
that for a long time.
You
We've
what?
been we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, we have. What are your thoughts about that?
No, I'm sorry I interrupted you. So
No, I want to hear what you have to say about that. And also anything that anybody wants to chime in about how it relates to last week. Common sense is the foundation of high performance, or if you just had any experiences with common sense or the lack of it this week.
well, a couple of things. So it's just interesting that you really do need a computer or a smartphone these days for communication. I mean, as much as we hate it, um, but then champions spend time building and improving their attitude, skills, knowledge in their chosen field. This is exactly what we're doing, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, attitude, skills, and knowledge in their chosen field. Like, I mean, we just keep going, and that's why we will win ultimately, is because we haven't quit and we just keep learning more. And you think about how much you know in the field of essential oils, like how much more do you know now than you did 10 years ago?
Mm.
How powerful that is, and what a wealth of information you are now to those around you. Anybody who is in any kind of situation or pain or whatever, that you've got skills and you've got answers with that. But I think also the attitude and skills of, and because it's not only being good at what you're good at, like what your field is, it's also being good at controlling and directing your emotions. And
Mm.
that is, I mean, that's what we're doing with the Tuesday morning calls with Mary, the breakthrough um, calls. And that's what we're doing like constantly. I was thinking about this over the last week. I spent the last week with a bunch of kids, a bunch of girls for Girls Week. They are all, so I have five nieces who are 17, 16, 17 this year. And we have, since they were like 14, they have been coming to my house for a week to do, I don't know what, but whatever, right? Like we'll figure something out because I'm like, these girls need skills. They need lots of different kinds of skills. They need kind of a place, an opportunity to be away from their parents a little bit. It's my favorite age of kids, just the teenage years, because they're so funny and they think they know so much, and they do know so much on a lot of things, but it's really fun to just like banter with them and just like kind of tease them back and forth. But also it's amazing to be able to teach them different skills that they're going to need for their life. And so this time we had, we've done in the past, we've done like um the art of window shopping, because like if you don't have any money, then it's better to just like, visualize. And
Mhm.
and also how to ride, how to read a bus schedule and ride the train and stuff like that. Anyway, this time we did budgeting. Tim did a budgeting class, and they contacted me beforehand. They were like, "We don't have any money. We can't go out to dinner. We can't go because we've taken him out to like fancy dinner, or we went to a play last year. We can't go to plays. We have to do everything cheap because we don't have any money. And also we want a budgeting class, and also we want to learn because I told them that I had a few ideas of things that maybe they wanted to learn, and one of them was a 2 hour workshop on life story that Becky offered recently. And that is still available, I believe, if you want the recording. I think it's only $50. It's a 2 hour workshop on life story. So it's a good refresher. Anyway, they wanted that, which was awesome um, because the two of them sat down and actually did it. One of them kind of got bored and got up and, whatever. The other two weren't there at that time, but anyway, it just really made me think about how valuable it is for us to get our minds right, because our competency in emotions, and it made me think of how far I've come with my emotions too, because I'm just so much more stable, and I'm not crazy, which is nice because I was crazy earlier this year when menopause was hitting me so hard, right? Right, honey? But so much of this skill of being more emotionally steady has definitely been a skill and a practice, but also a competency, right? And you become more competent the more that you work at it, and the more that you try, the more that you spend the time, the more that you don't give up or give in to the emotions that are surrounding you. There's a possibility for a lot of deep and difficult emotions this week with the attempted assassination of President Trump. There are many people who are having a lot of emotions around this, and I do think it's super, super important to recognize the hand of God um in his I mean, it was just so close. But instead of feeling terror about that, if we feel terror about that, if we feel that maybe evil can win somehow, and I'm not saying that if Trump dies that evil will win, but if we have that feeling of like, like there's not a way out, then that's an indication to ourselves that we need to work on our own competencies in our faith, and make sure that we're able to hold our heart in that place where the one that we really truly believe in is the one true God. And gosh, it feels good to know that in times of concern. We had a situation in our community also where we lost a person by his own hand, and it is just so sad. But again, as I have thought through the emotions of the whole thing, and I've just had so much compassion for him and for his family. And, we are in the last days when men's hearts fail them. And we need to do just like everything that we can to minister and to buoy up and lift. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing with all of this, right?
Love all of that, and I feel like and even the part where it says that the masses worry about job security, that's the scarcity mentality, right? And then where the champions spend time building and improving their attitude, that's abundance. Like that's just saying, okay, like it was cool when you were reading that. There was another part that I thought, oh, that's the let's just think about this from an abundant mindset. And then just when you were saying just the other stuff you were saying too, help me remember it's hope. Like when we have a lack of hope,
Yes.
we are going to have that scarcity mentality. But when we have hope, it's like, oh, well, it's gonna work out. We're gonna figure this out.
We're
And
going to figure this out. We're going to figure
yeah,
this out. And it might even be uncomfortable and ugly for
right.
a little bit while we figure it out, but we will. ultimately
But that's okay.
figure it out. Right. And that
Yeah.
hope is what, like, we read years ago, I read the book, Good to Great, and am reminded of the story of I don't remember his name, but he was a prisoner of war. I think it was during Vietnam. And he was there, I believe he was a prisoner for 2 years. And as he was interviewed after, he said, like, how did you survive and the others didn't? And he said, well, it was the optimists that died first. And he said, what? Why was it the optimists? And he said, well, because the ones that like said, we're going to be out of here by Christmas or we'll be out of here by Easter or whatever, they put this date on it. They had this expectation and they had hope to a point. And that hope to the point, if Christmas came and went, or if Easter came and went, they had no more hope and they died literally of a broken heart. They just could not continue to carry on with that. But he said, those of us who knew that we would get out at some point, we didn't know when or how that would happen. But the ones that knew that eventually they would get out, that were the ones that lived and went back to their families. So really interesting to think about the differences in that. Competence and confidence, I think, go together. And so I think that that's another one is that, I've been told, you got to develop your confidence. And like you try to develop your confidence, but if you're not competent in what you're doing, you're not confident, right? And so the competency of getting good at the thing that you're, in your craft, like that's an important piece of moving forward, because if you're not competent, if you're not good at it, you're going to struggle with the confidence side. And if you are confident and if you're confident but you're incompetent, then you feel like well, you might not feel like what is it, an imposter, but you easily be look that way if you're like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being confident in the fact that we're going to figure it out and in the fact that you're gaining competence. Like I think that kind of an attitude is really good, but I do think it's dangerous to be confident in stuff that you have no competencies in. uh, so, all right. Any other thoughts about competence, or any thoughts also of common sense that we talked about last week?
I feel like that the competence and confidence have to do with humility, because when we can be humble and hear the intuition, and that gives us that ability to step into to the confidence and the competence, because it's not just us. We're receiving from the divine, and then we can go forward just knowing.
Yeah, I love
The
that.
direction going. So.
I love that. Awesome. Okay, let's talk about the world-class resource, the ultimate common sense guide to success, which I wonder if he meant to put this one for last week, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This classic, written in 1937 and has since become the book by which all personal development books are measured. It is a must-read for anyone interested in world-class results. So that's Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. Haven't read that in a while. And then the action step for today lists the 3 most important activities in which you must continue to develop competence. Make a commitment to invest a set number of hours per week beyond your normal working hours to study. 1 hour of extra study per day in your chosen field will make you a national expert in 5 years or less. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
10,000 hours is what it takes to become a national expert in your field. So, all right. So keep it up, keep learning, keep growing, keep gaining in competence. Don't give up. Next week looks really fun about developing bravery in the battle for your dream. So I'm excited to talk about that next time. And yeah, gather your stories of competence this week and what you're doing to improve yours, and we will chat again. Have a great week.
Thanks. You
Thanks.
too.